Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Friday, August 16th, day 32. And I got a lot to cover and not enough time to cover it, at least not this morning, but that'll be good because this afternoon I'll be able to clarify some of the things that I'm just not 100% sure on right now. So, let's hit the highlights, right? Last night we did have the vote flip. As predicted. It was only 9 votes because Angela and Quinn did not get to vote, even though they brought Quinn into the diary room. And it was 6-3 to vote out Cedric. So there was no tie vote because Quinn didn't get to vote. Now, Quinn would have voted out Rabina. For those of you that don't know, MJ won the AI competition, which was very close. It came down to really the fact that MJ was focused on her game and Rubina was looking over at MJ. That's really what happened. Rubina had a insurmountable lead in what they were doing. So the quick gist of it is there was a ramp, two-sided ramp with a little ledge in the middle. Right? So you roll a ball up, it would go across a level surface for a little bit, and then it would roll down the other side. On that top level surface, they had like cloth, like terry cloth or like artificial turf, something that would it's a little bit frictiony, but not too much. So they're rolling huge croquet balls up the ramp, and the idea was to get it to stop on that level area and not go too far and go down the other side. So they had 5 balls they had to get up there. Once they had all 5 balls up on there, then they had to use smaller balls to knock them off, to roll them up and knock them off, and that was calling the upload and the download is what they were saying. It was a unique game. Haven't seen it before that I know, so hey, that was cool and fairly universal in that, other than the fact that you had to run back and forth between the 2 ramps. It wasn't some skill of strength or skill of stamina. It was fairly equitable as far as competitions go, which is what everybody is about right now, is competitions being equitable, and that it doesn't favor people of certain physical attributes, extremely high over another. So Rubina actually had all the balls up before anybody else did. And then she had all but 1 ball down before, I don't know if MJ, first of all, Cedric was kind of out of it. He never really got all of his up. If he did, it was at the very end. So he was not in the hunt. Whereas Rubina was way out in front. MJ caught her. So Rubina's down to basically trying to get 1 ball, last ball knocked off. And MJ still has 5. But MJ, I don't even know. They'll show it on Sunday's episode. She managed to knock down all 5 balls. Boom, 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 boom. And Rubina was looking over and watching MJ for half a second, if that. She's going to grab a ball, and while she's grabbing the ball, she's looking over at MJ, which makes you work slower, right? You can't look at something while you're trying to do 2 things at the same time. So, point is, MJ managed to get the ball knocked off, and Rubina did it really at almost the exact same time, but MJ, being 6'1" versus Rubina's 4'11", was much faster to run to the buzzer you had to press. It was not this is where it came down to. It wasn't just knock your final ball off. You had to run to the middle and hit a buzzer, and MJ got to her buzzer first, and Rubina lost. So it came down to Rubina and Cedric. Chemo and Takor got together, huddled up right before the vote, and said, "We're doing it." And they did the vote. I think Joseph also voted. I don't remember the way Joseph voted right now. No, it was 6-3. So Joseph voted with them as well. So he voted out Cedric, which was a fortunate choice for him. But even if he hadn't, it still would have been 5-4, right? So his vote didn't make a difference. It was Chemo and Takor that made the difference. The votes were, easiest way to say it is the votes to keep Cedric were Chelsea, Brooklyn, and Cam. They were all blindsided. They did not know this was happening. They did not know that Kimo and Takor and Joseph were jumping ship. And so that was the big blind side of the night. Show ended. I barely watched the Cedric interview. And no offense to Cedric, I don't need to hear. He's out of the game. Don't need to hear his thoughts, opinions, or anything right now. Feeds eventually came back a little bit longer than a normal wait. It was a wall competition, and they came back for, I don't know, a couple of hours roughly, went back down, or an hour and a half, and then when they came back on, they were on the wall. The wall competition had started. Angela was out in short order. And then they got splattered and splashed and all those kind of things. Kimo was second. He looked like he was having issues from the very beginning. And Joseph was third. After that, I can't tell you the order. I think with Leah, Chelsea, I don't remember exactly. It came down to Cam, Rubina, Quinn, and Tucker. Okay, so those were the 4. I figured Rubina was going to do well. I think I said that. I thought Rubina would do well. I didn't think Cam would do as well, and I just didn't have any faith in Quinn. I don't know why. He's better than I'm giving him credit for. But Rubina went out before Cam, which kind of surprised me. It was just center of gravity thing. But they get splattered with so much stuff now, and the leans are so extreme that I can understand it. It is much, much tougher a competition than it was back when these would go for hours, right? I mean, this thing was over in maybe 45 minutes, less than 45 minutes. So it was fairly rapid. But their extreme angles are getting blasted with all kinds of crap, and then they get leaned out, and they mean it to be short, and they just don't care. It doesn't need to be long, because all they care about is getting to the end, which they got to with, again, Rubina went out, then Cam went out, so it was down to Quinn and Tucker. Not a shock that Tucker was there. And then they cut the feeds. And it was reported that Tucker offered Quinn a deal, and Quinn denied it, and then Quinn went down the very next time they leaned it out. We didn't see it, though, because they literally cut the feeds. They did not let us see Quinn win. Or, sorry, Tucker win and Quinn go out. So that's kind of annoying. It's happened before, but it really just ticks us off every time it happens. And there have been lots of times where we've gotten to see the winner, and it used to be all the time. So that was a giant finger to the fans by production. It is what it is. I've already complained about it. I'm not going to rant anymore. One of the accounts that I follow online that I think has a very strong involvement with production, when the feeds went down, said Tucker. And so I took it to mean Tucker won. And I reported that Tucker won. And people were like, how did you do this? Like, I didn't, it was reported. It was right there. I'm not going to out this account, because they do give valid information, but it's not a thing that I haven't talked about before. So people just aren't sure if it's a production related person, but I am 99% sure it's either someone that knows someone on production, or it is someone who's involved with production. They don't say a whole lot, but they have teased things. They have said things. They teased the Christmas. They said winter is coming. They teased the Christmas show. They've said a few things. So that was the Tucker winning. Then the feeds were off for like 20 minutes before they came back, and we found Tucker and Quinn in the shower, which is exactly what I said was going to happen. I had no insight on that. It's just happened in the past when they do these competitions. Feeds usually come back to somebody in the shower, and I just guessed it would be Tucker and or Quinn. As it turned out, it was Quinn getting into the shower, and Tucker quickly followed him. So, but that was not me with any inside info. That was just me having watched this so many times before. So Quinn and Tucker, final two. Tucker wins it. Quinn feels for sure that he's going to be nominated. I think he is going to be nominated. And that's where I gave up and went to bed. So, a quick scan of my Twitter timeline this morning gave me the following information, and I will expound on this stuff maybe this afternoon. And I don't even know. I don't even know right now if we have 3 nominations. I think we're going to have 3 nominations. I think they like this AI arena. I believe they would have ended the AI arena this week if it hadn't been for what happened last night, right? This blind side. The problem with the AI arena for the live feed viewer is that it takes out some of the drama on Monday evening, Wednesday, and Thursday, because there's still this huge unknown of who's going to get eliminated, who's going to be the final 3, or the final 2. And so there isn't nearly as much of the flip-flopping. Night before last, with Chemo and Takor finally deciding to get out of the kiddie pool and jump into the big kids pool, was the first time that we've seen that kind of stuff going on. And I don't know if it's going to happen this next week. I don't know if it's going to. I'm going to assume for now there's 3 nominees, but again, I don't know. And it may have been told to the house guests last night, but I didn't see it this morning, so I don't know. So we're going to go with that for now. I'll figure it out at some point today. But the house guests don't weren't talking like it was anything else. But they did reduce the number of have-nots from 4 to 3. And there are have-nots again this week. And it is the first 3 that were off. So Angela, Chemo, and Joseph are the 3 have-nots. So they brought that back after a 2-week hiatus. So this is the 3rd of 5 weeks. This is the 3rd of 5 weeks where they actually have have-nots. And I believe Chemo... I don't remember who's all done it before. I don't remember if Angela's done it before. I don't remember if Joseph's done this before, and it doesn't matter. So it was 4 men the first week, 4 women the second week. And again, so it's Angela, Chemo, and Joseph. That's all we need to talk about that, because they won't show it on the feeds or anything. Or they won't show it on the TV show, so let's not worry about it. So you've got Tucker as a head of household. He had met, as they showed on the TV show, formed this alliance they didn't name that included Angela. It was Tucker, Chemo, Takor, and Rubina, and then they included Angela because she snuck up on it and invited herself, and so they added her. But remember, Tucker and Angela had been working quietly in the background. I mean, Angela's just a number. She's just someone they've got in there because nobody else was helping her at the time, and they've embraced her and they're letting her in. But I don't think they see her as a real member of the alliance. They will get rid of her when they can, but she's going to be around. She's going to be around. Oh, the folks that are going to be unhappy when they figure that out, or maybe they've just given up on it and they've just accepted that she's going to be around. Maybe they finally gotten over the fact that she got rid of their mat, in week 1. We're in week 5 now, so. Anyways, they got back together last night in the head of household room. They're coming with that fish tank, that fish alliance. That name seems to be sticking, some form of it. And then they decided to add on Joseph. So it was 5. They added on Joseph. And Joseph, I guess, came up with the name 6th Avenue. So you've got the Fish Alliance. Here we go. Think Fish 5. Think that group. And then add on Joseph, and they get 6th Avenue. I don't know if they've added anybody else, but I could see being a 7th Avenue, and they toss on another person, which that person could be Leah. It was talked about Leah being a number for them. So it's very possible they could add Leah onto that layer. So then you've got a 7-person alliance, potentially. Versus Chelsea, Brooklyn, Cam, Quinn. Who else am I missing? I don't know. I'm not going to look at my list right now. But they're now the underdogs in the house, right? So there's a lot of people that wanted Tucker to win last night. And he did. So was that everybody? Are we down to? Let's see. I'm glancing at my list. Oh, Mackenzie. Yeah, Mackenzie isn't in that group that I just listed. The first group. She isn't in with Tucker. Well, she was going to go. So Mackenzie has to find a home. And is she going to find a home with Quinn, who's responsible for her being up last week? It's going to be interesting to see where Mackenzie falls out. But I think she's been kind of tight with Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea, Brooklyn, Mackenzie. Yeah. All right. So you've got this new alliance that's gotten thrown together. We'll see how cocky they are. You've got Tucker, head of household for the week. Rubina has joined him in the head of household bedroom, and they were kissing last night. So they are now an official showmance. How much they show it around the house, I don't know, but they are a couple, and they will be perceived as a couple. And Tucker may pull away from it and say, we got to keep our distance, but they're a couple. What else? Don't know if they're going to be 3 nominees. That's a big major thing. If they keep 3 nominees, and again, I think they will. I really, again, I don't know if I think I may have trailed off or got sidetracked, but I think they would have ended the AI arena this week if this all hadn't happened. I mean, I can't say that's 100% certainty, because in theory, the argument is they plan these competitions out months in advance, so they have to have the AI competitions ready. But it's also possible that they create competitions and they never use them because they decide to end something. So maybe they have backup competitions ready to go, and it's like, okay, we're going with it. We're going to keep this going. I will say the competitions have been really good. They've been really good. I still miss Heath, but I really feel like they got stuck in a rut of competitions, and I blame that more on the Allison and them using, bring that one back. I have a feeling if Heath was given the opportunity, he would have created some of these kind of things, and he's certainly done more competitions in other places, but I digress, and I'm getting way into the down a rabbit hole talking about specific, competition design. But as I said, the AI competition, the 3 nominees, I think they're going to keep it going at least for a little while. Now, some people say, it's going to go on forever. No, they can't keep going it on forever. They can't keep going with it forever, because at some point you don't have enough bodies, and it creates too much unsureness, set for a term, about what's going on, because it does introduce a whole new dynamic, and they don't want to be down to like 5 people and you have to nominate 3 of the 5. You've got to have a cutoff point, and I think the cutoff point will be fairly soon. So I think the AI arena is good for a couple more weeks maybe, but I do think that it might have ended. So my big concern about all of this, by the way, going back to what this means now that Tucker won head of household, is that Tucker is not Tucker. The Tucker we're seeing on TV, the Tucker we're seeing winning competitions and doing stuff, that's not the real guy. That's not him. He knows he is putting on a show. He is everything that production wants in a house guest, and that I am sure he is in there with production saying, what do you want me to do now? I can do that. I can do this. How would you like this? What if I do this character? How about I do this? I mean, he is doing everything production wants to put on a show. And I don't like that, because it's not reality, right? This is a reality show. If we're not seeing the real people, what are we seeing? We're seeing people that are acting and goofing around, and I'm just not a fan. So my concern is the more successful that Tucker is, the more likely we're going to have more characters like Tucker, which I enjoy Tucker, but I don't need a house full of Tuckers, and I don't need it would be like, here's another analogy. So we've been watching college wrestling for years, and every once in a while you get a few characters in there, and now the pro wrestlers are coming in, and they're going like, we're going to do it this way. And we're going to do this, and we're going to put on a show. And the owners of the arena are going like, we like that product better than we like the college wrestling. We want more of the pro wrestlers. And so they're going to throw more pro wrestlers in, and it's going to be much more of a show. Which the problem is that the public will eat it up, right? The public will eat it up. And so I never thought that this is the route this show could go. I thought it would fade away, but I don't know. I'm not sure. The success of the show, The Challenge, by the way, which I do not watch, but I have watched about 2 episodes. That's all about the drama and the competition, and again, putting on a show. And by the way, Tucker will be on The Challenge, 100% sure, and he even knows it. That's where he's going to really shine, because it's all about the characters and everything. So I don't want The Challenge on CBS with cartoony sound effects. I did find it amusing last night that someone on my timeline or wrote somewhere, says, I've never watched the live feeds, the wall. I've never watched a competition on the live feeds before. It's so weird without all the sound effects. It's like, wow. Yeah, it's all about the sound effects, folks. That's what the TV show is adding sound effects to competitions. That's the other reason, by the way, that the AI Arena is good for them, is because they get to fill up a show with more competitions and they don't have to weave storylines. Same song I've sung many, many times lately. All right, so what's happening? Nominations. Who's Tucker going to put up? I can only assume that Tucker is going to nominate, because I haven't seen it, and I know he's probably talked about it a little bit. But he and Quinn did have a sit-down get-together, and that's one of the things on the plus side for entertainment value. Tucker's willing to keep, people that he probably shouldn't keep around. He talked about working with Quinn. He talked about working with Quinn and kind of saving him with the power of veto. So I think Quinn's going up for sure. I can't say. I think Brooklyn's probably going to go up for sure. And maybe Cam. I believe that Takor was saying, please don't put up, or at least not initially, put up Chelsea. So if I had to guess, I'm going to say that the nominees will probably be Quinn, Cam, and Quinn, Cam, and I'm at traffic, so we're going to get distracted for a half a second. Yeah, Quinn, Cam, and Brooklyn are probably going to be the 3 nominees, but we'll see, and we'll know later, and chances are nominations won't be made till later. And that's assuming that there's 3 nominees, right? If there isn't the AI Arena, then there won't be 3 nominees. We'll just have 2. But none of that has been explained or announced or anything. So for now, we're going to go with assumed 3 until we hear differently. And if the house guests don't talk about, it's going to be 2 now, then it's going to be 3. I know that's very logical. Anything else that I need to cover? No, I think I covered as much as I can in my drive. And we'll talk about more this afternoon. But there you go. It was a very good show last night. It was very exciting. The head of household competition was very exciting. Just extremely annoying that they cut off the end. Really, really annoying. But it is what it is, and can't change that. And I can rant about it, or I can just go like, whatever. And I'm at the whatever stage. Have a good one, folks. Thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. I actually, side note, watched the show last night with my sister, who stopped by in town, and so I watched another Big Brother show with somebody other than a room full of people like I did at the premiere. It was very interesting, especially when you're trying to tweet about it, and she knows we talked about it. I'm trying to both watch it, tweet it, and we're having a little side discussions. And a couple of times I probably got a little bit short with her, like, I got to do this, but she knows it, she understands, and it was fun. And anyways, that was different and enjoyable. So that was that. Sorry, there I go saying I'm done, and I'm adding a little note, but that's it. Now I'm out of here. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great Friday. Thank you for your support, and I will talk to you this afternoon when we'll probably have a better idea on nominations. See you later. Bye-bye.